What if I told you that everything you believe you know about Jim Jones and Chrissy is a complete lie? Yes, you heard me correctly. What if I told you that Camron, the same Camron we all know, destroyed everything they had built in one move? He entered that courtroom and tore apart their idyllic little world. And I promise you won't believe the secrets he just revealed. But here's the twist. Jim Jones, the man who believed he was untouchable and that we all believed he couldn't do anything wrong, lost it all in front of the world. He stood there exposed as the walls collapsed around him. And Chrissy, you won't even recognize her after this? Do you really believe that Chrissy was the mastermind behind all of this? Do you really believe that Jim Jones was unaware that the truth is much worse than you think? Camron just revealed a scandal that will leave you stunned. What happens when the people you trust turn against you in the most public way possible? When everything you've worked so hard to build comes tumbling down, isn't just another celebrity. Scandal, it's the scandal of the year. You prepared to be astounded? Stay tuned because it's just the beginning. The video footage that had surfaced was everyone had hoped for. It was blurry and inconclusive, showing two figures in a car that could have been Melly and his alleged co-conspirator Bortlen. But the lack of made it impossible to definitively identify them. We were obsessive about it, and every new leak and rumor only served to fuel the fire. It seemed like everyone was waiting for the next piece of evidence that would clear Melly's name. Or was it just another piece of evidence that the prosecution wasn't backing down either? It might not. Be crystal clear, it still placed Melly at the scene at a crucial time. What was even more concerning for Melly's defense, however, was the revelation about his past. Several former associates came forward and claimed that Melly had made veiled threats before the murders. Further muddied the waters, and the defense team seized on this uncertainty, claiming that the footage was too ambiguous to have any real weight in court. That he had threatened to take matters into his own hands if things didn't go his way. Was this the attitude of an innocent man? Or did it hint at something much darker? As if things couldn't get any worse, Melly's longtime friend and co-defendant finally took action. Rumors about a potential plea deal had been going around for weeks, and now it appeared to be imminent. In a startling turn of events, Bortlen's defense team confirmed that he was negotiating with the prosecution for a reduced sentence in exchange for testimony against. This was a devastating blow to Melly's case because Bortlen had been the last line of defense for his story. Now that he might be flipping, the prosecution had an insider who knew exactly what had happened before the murders. The courtroom was on fire, and the tension was palpable as people wondered if this was the end of Melly's defense. Was his best friend going to betray him for a lighter sentence? The Free Melly movement seemed to be losing steam as more and more people began to doubt his innocence. But it didn't end there. The defense, of course, attempted to discredit the whistleblower by claiming that they were just Eric associates seeking attention and money. But the testimony was explosive and seemed to confirm the worst fears of those who believed Melly was guilty. The whistleblower, who had been granted anonymity for their protection, claimed to have been involved in the aftermath of the killings and to have seen Melly dispose of evidence. They also claimed that Melly had confessed to them in private conversations about the details of the murders. With each new piece of evidence, the mounting list of witnesses against Melly began to paint a troubling picture. Then the final straw was a leaked recording of a conversation between Melly and his lawyer that suggested a plea deal. In the recording, Melly seemed concerned about the outcome of the case and discussed the possibility of pleading guilty to lesser charges. Avoid a life sentence. The recording was devastating because if Melly was actually considering a plea deal, it would mean he was willing to admit guilt, which could be enough to permanently change the jury's verdict. The prosecution wasted no time taking advantage of the defense naturally denied the authenticity of the recording, which they presented as evidence that Melly knew he was guilty, and that he was attempting to avoid the consequences of his actions by cutting a deal. However, by that point, the damage had been done, and the public was now doubting everything about Melly's case. Meanwhile, Melly's supporters were divided. Some began to feel the weight of the evidence against him, asking whether it was true, and whether Melly was truly capable of the crimes he was accused of. The trial was nearing its conclusion. Even as the case reached its climax, the most shocking development of all came in the form of Melly's statement to the court during the final stages of the trial. The question on everyone's mind was simple. Would Melly walk free or face life? In prison, the legal drama had become a worldwide spectacle, and the media outlets couldn't get enough of it. Social media exploded with every new update, every new leak, and every new twist in the case. Celebrities and influencers weighed in, giving their opinions on Melly's guilt or innocence. Everyone seemed to be watching it all. Involvement in the murders and maintained his innocence. He, his upbringing, his struggles, and how he had always tried to act morally. The moment was intensely personal and emotional, and it appeared to influence some people in the courtroom. But was it sufficient? When the trial came to a close, the jury deliberated, and everyone in the room waited to see if Melly would be found guilty or if he would be free. Again, despite the overwhelming evidence against him. Regardless of the verdict, one thing was certain. This case had changed. The story of YNW Melly was about more than just a murder trial. It was about a system, a celebrity, and the world of fame and fortune colliding in ways that no one could have predicted. The stage was set for the final act, but only time would tell if the truth would ever come to light. So, what happens when the secrets start to leak and suddenly you find yourself at the center of a scandal that you can't control? Well, we're about to find out, because the drama between Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin isn't just about personal betrayal. No, this is a full-on public meltdown. Let's dive into the mess that's making waves on social media and beyond. Wasn't just talking about controlling relationships or financial manipulation. He exposed an empire based on deceit and manipulation. The shocking thing is that the public doesn't know everything. Camron didn't reveal all of his secrets in court. Instead, he's been letting them come out one by one, and they're slowly destroying Jim and Chrissy's relationship. What we discovered from the court documents that Camron allegedly had in his possession documents that are currently in the hands of investigative reporters is that Jim wasn't even the only person who made decisions regarding his career and finances. The woman who gained notoriety as Jim's Redordai was actually pulling all the strings behind the scenes. She wasn't just a supportive girlfriend. She was the one making the big decisions, managing the money, and forming the story of their relationship. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. You see, Jim may have been the one in front of the cameras, rapping and entertaining the audience at his concerts. But when it came to the money, the real wealth they were amassing, Chrissy had her hands all over it. She was allegedly the mastermind behind everything that had to do with their business dealings. And we're talking about more than just a couple of endorsement deals. Shell companies, offshore accounts, and a network of hidden assets that only a select few were aware of. All of this occurred while Jim was busy concentrating on his career, believing that Chrissy had his back. However, Camron wasn't finished yet. According to anonymous sources close to the matter, he took it to the next level when he began discussing the negative aspects of their relationship. Chrissy wasn't just in charge of Jim's money. She was also involved in managing his public image. Every decision he made, every agreement he signed, and every move he made was carefully planned to preserve the ideal couple facade they had created over the years. Now, let's talk about the money laundering aspect of this situation, because, believe me, it's a big deal. According to sources, Camron allegedly discovered that Jim and Chrissy had engaged in some dubious financial transactions. By dubious, I mean that illegal funds intended for their business were being transferred into shell companies through hidden accounts and allegedly even used for personal expenses unrelated to their careers. The worst part is that this wasn't even an error. Rather, it was a carefully planned scheme to conceal their wealth and keep it out of the public eye. And Camron wasn't about to let them get away with it. Everything that happened in that courtroom, from Chrissy's manipulation of Jim to the financial schemes they had been running behind closed doors. And guess what? According to those same anonymous sources, the couple's dark secrets go all the way back to the beginning. From the beginning of their relationship, Chrissy had been using Jim as a pawn in her complex game to secure wealth and power. Wasn't just a love story gone wrong. It was a calculated scheme to take control of Jim's life and future. Additionally, Jim Jones isn't just any celebrity. He is a rapper, businessman, and well-known figure in the hip-hop industry. This situation isn't just about financial manipulation or relationship drama. It's also about public perception, and that's where things get interesting. As soon as Camron revealed the truth about what was truly happening, the public had a field day on social media, with fans turning against Jim and Chrissy in a way they've never seen before. The shock. It's almost poetic in a tragic sense. Jim built his career, put in the work, and made a name for himself. But behind closed doors, Chrissy was subtly making decisions that were affecting their financial future and manipulating his every move. Everyone from hip-hop fans to onlookers began searching through their past, exposing every dubious move they had made. People began asking, was everything we saw on TV just a lie? Was their relationship all for show? Camron's response was, yeah. Then came the part that really hit home. Jim Jones was no longer in charge once the courtroom revelations went public, and his empire began to fall apart. No one knew who to trust anymore, and even his closest supporters began to turn away, wondering if they had been duped by the lies that had having been skillfully crafted by Chrissy. The betrayal was real and the damage was undeniable. But the question that everyone has is where Jim will go from here. The truth is that the damage caused by these revelations may be irreversible. Sure, Jim is a fighter and a survivor, but this isn't just about a feud with Camron or some made-up drama for TV. It's about his entire public image being shattered by someone he trusted most. And worse, he's lost control of the narrative, with the public now questioning everything he has ever said and done. Jim Jones is facing a challenge that may be to overcome at this point. As you can see, Chrissy is not exactly winning popularity contests after everything that has been made public. Fans and even some of her friends are beginning to see her for who she really is, and the backlash will only get worse. However, we are only just beginning the public fallout. And trust me, isn't going to be a short-lived scandal. The more people discuss it, the more secrets will surface. So buckle up, because this roller coaster is just getting started. And keep an eye out, because you never know what will happen next. Now that we have the mess, the scandal, and the public chaos, let's talk regarding the aftermath, as that's where things get even more intense. The courtroom drama, the lies, and the financial secrets are only the beginning. The real consequences are just beginning to unfold. To start, Jim Jones's reputation is in ruins. He went from being a well-respected member of the hip-hop community to being the target of rumors and mockery in the blink of an eye. You know how the internet operates. One mistake, one leak, one shocking revelation, and it's like you're just a hashtag. To make matters worse, people are no longer supporting him. And that's not something you can easily recover from when his entire career has been based on loyalty, street cred, and respect. So when your closest allies turn against you, it's like getting stabbed in the back by the people who were meant to support you. But here's the worst part. His career isn't just personal, it's also professional. His music isn't even making an impression on the charts. His brand is struggling. His tours have been cut back, and ticket sales aren't nearly as high as they once were. After all, nobody in the hip-hop industry wants to be the next person exposed for dealing with a shady character. So what? It's no longer just about being a rapper with a few hits. Rather, it's about surviving the damage to your name. Trust me, this will take a toll, and Jim won't recover easily from this kind of scandal. That doesn't fade away quickly. Meanwhile, Chrissy Lampkin isn't doing much better. In fact, if you thought her involvement in this drama would go unnoticed, think again. She's been dragged through the mud alongside Jim, and the worst part is that she may have started it all. Mastermind behind the deceit and manipulation. Yes, those feelings of a perfect couple were just that, feelings. Behind the scenes, Chrissy was allegedly running the show, pulling strings, and using Jim as a puppet in a larger game of manipulation. Although she may have fooled the public for years, she is now facing the music and her image is collapsing. Faster than a house of cards, but don't take my word for it. Let's talk about the fallout. According to sources, and I'm talking about some real insider information here, the backlash against Chrissy is serious. Fans are calling for answers. For her to be held responsible for the way she managed Jim's career and finances, and let's not even the internet trolls who are having a field day. Chrissy exposed is trending, and every tweet, meme, and comment serves as a reminder that the public is tired of her. She is no longer viewed as the devoted girlfriend supporting her man. Instead, she is being portrayed as a scheming individual who exploited their relationship for personal gain. And that's a narrative that's difficult to shake. Let's talk about the legal repercussions because, wow, things are getting serious. The courtroom drama not only revealed personal, there are ongoing investigations into the couple's financial dealings, according to anonymous sources. Authorities are reportedly looking into possible money laundering schemes, offshore accounts, and hidden assets. These are not just accusations being thrown around in the media. Actual investigations are taking place. If the allegations are true, we could be looking at some serious charges, including tax evasion and even criminal conspiracy. And when the law starts sniffing around, you can bet your bottom dollar that things are going to get messy. Jim Jones may no longer be in charge, but Chrissy isn't off the hook either. According to people familiar with the matter, she is already planning to break off her relationship with Jim. You know what that means? When the chips are down, the first person to leave is usually the one pulling the strings. Chrissy has been accused of using Jim's career as a springboard to build her own empire. But what happens when her empire starts to fall apart? You bet she does. And that's the next stage of the fallout. Since this isn't just a personal breakup. It's a public and professional split that will have long-lasting effects. The couple's financial affairs, business endeavors, and relationship are all falling apart, and the tension is growing every day. What does mean for Jim and Chrissy's future? Well, we know that it will be a long and bumpy road, and no one will soon forget the mess they've made. The public is watching every move they make. So they better be prepared for what's going to happen because the truth always finds a way to surface. And in this case, it's already exposed. Time will tell, but one thing is certain, this scandal isn't going away anytime soon. Jim and Chrissy thought they could fool everyone, but they only fooled themselves. What's happening now isn't just about a failed relationship. It's about an empire built on lies and manipulation, and we're all watching as it all comes crashing down. Will Jim be able to pick up the pieces? Will Chrissy escape unscathed? Or will she hold the bag for everything she's done? Only time will tell. And that concludes today's explosive story. But believe me, we're just getting started. The drama, the lies, the betrayal, this saga is far from over. So now is your chance to join the conversation. What do you think will happen next? Will Jim Jones recover from this massive scandal? Can Chrissy save her reputation, or has she lost it all? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't hold back. Let's see who is still on their side and who is prepared to cancel them both. I know you have some strong opinions on this one. If you're shaken by all the twists and turns we've uncovered, don't forget to like this video. We're always going above and beyond to bring you the real stories you won't find anywhere else. So trust me when I say that you don't want to miss what we have coming next. So if you want more juicy exposes like this one, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. The drama is just getting started, so buckle up. Buckle up.